My presentation actually, yes, is on the therapeutic role of dogs in human health. And this is a presentation that was supposed to be done by Professor Phil Tedeschi from the University of Denver at the Institute for Human-Animal Connection, but unfortunately he could not be with us today. So to start it off, one of the biggest challenges that we face as an animal welfare organization is trying to convince our government that there is no need to use strychnine as a way to control as a way to control dog population. And one of the key questions that government always asks us, is there an alternative? And we are quick to say, yes, there are other humane ways of controlling dog populations, and one of them is spay-neuter. And today, in line with the theme of our panel, which is innovations and emerging issues in animal welfare, I'd like to bring to our attention other roles that dogs play with regard to human health. Okay? So as an introduction, here in Africa, dogs have been victimized, they've been misunderstood, yet they play a key role within our homes and in community in general. And in line with the conference objectives, which was set yesterday, there is a need to discuss the various ways animals, specifically canine welfare, can be incorporated in development through promoting human health. I'd like to just bring this discussion by talking about our history with dogs. These are remains of a human being that were found in northern Israel, and this human being was dated back to 10 to 12,000 years ago. But that's not of importance to my discussion. My discussion, there's a certain animal, remains of another animal, towards, if you can see, towards the head area. You will see there's another animal that is just lying next to the remains of a human being. And it was discovered that this was a 4 to 5 month old puppy that was buried together with a human being. And you can see that this special connection between human beings and canines dates back thousands and thousands of years ago. Okay, and when I talk about this bond, what exactly am I talking about? I like to point out just two key things in the interest of time. First and foremost, the human-animal bond is a mutually beneficial and dynamic relationship between people and other animals. Number two, the health and well-being of both animal and people. That is a summary of the human-animal bond. And you can actually see, this is one of the many vaccination clinics that we've held within communities. And you can see a certain bond shared between this young boy and his friend, his dog. And I'd like to share some very interesting facts about dogs, probably you know or you do not know about. Did you know that dogs can actually understand human pointing and gestures? Also, did you know that dogs can imitate people? 3, do you know that dogs can pick up aspects of human language and communication very quickly? I can see Amy shaking her head. And quite intriguing is that dogs can actually recognize an 1/8 millimeter of movement in the human face. Quite interesting. So this particular human bond that I'm talking about, is there any scientific evidence to show, to indicate that indeed that there's a human-canine bond? I'll be a bit technical, talk about a neurobiological connection and psychological benefits of this interaction. First, I'll talk about the neurobiological connection. Have you seen a young baby who is so distressed, crying, the face is red, and whatever you do, that child cannot really be at ease until the mother walks in and picks the baby, and the baby just calms down. Do you know the reason why? There's a special hormone that is produced within that interaction between the mother and the child. And this special hormone is called oxytocin. Oxytocin, the same levels that are produced when there's an interaction between mother and child, is the same levels that is produced when the owner of a dog interacts with their own pet. Something funny about this hormone, it's also called the cuddle hormone or the love hormone. And I've put two research papers there that you can read within your own time, just for you to get more information about oxytocin. But the major benefit that has been drawn is that it leads to decrease of stress-related parameters, mainly blood pressure, heart rate, and cortisol. And cortisol, the other name for cortisol is a stress hormone. Other benefits of human-canine interaction is that it leads to psychological benefits. Dogs increase social interaction, emotional support, empathy, promote nurturing skills. They also decrease stress and depression, loneliness, feeling of isolation, aggressive behavior, and reduce psychiatric symptoms. So now, with these benefits that have already been researched and proven that they actually work, what are the other roles that we can utilize, that we can use for our dogs? In Africa, unfortunately, the main role that has been set aside for dogs is security. And according to a recent research that was done in one of the counties here in Kenya, that is in Machakos, 99% of respondents said that they keep dogs for utilitarian purposes, that is for security purposes. But people are not yet, they do not have that information that actually dogs can play other roles that promote human health. So I'd like to introduce, especially so to the African delegates here, I'd like to introduce other roles that have not been used here in Kenya, specifically Kenya or East Africa. Probably in other countries like South Africa, probably it has been adopted. I'm not quite sure about it, but specifically Kenya and East Africa. And these are the therapeutic roles of dogs. At the University of Denver, there's a project called the Bridge Project, where children with reading disabilities have been introduced to canines, to dogs, and because they have a reading disability, these canines just sit with them as they read, and this helps them to practice in their reading, and with time they get better. And the beauty about this interaction is it's non-judgmental. And kids are able just to practice with time with the pets, with the dogs. Another therapeutic role is military trauma. Canines have been used in military trauma. With trauma, there's a lot of stress-related parameters, as we talked about earlier on, and this interaction helps actually to reduce these negative parameters. Also, canines have been used in prison populations to reduce aggressive behaviors of inmates. They've also been used in patients with chronic illnesses and in oncology. Canines have also been used in loneliness and healthy aging, and I can see from some of my panelists here, Josiah and Solomon, probably I'll be getting you a pet very soon. Canines have also been used in child trauma and welfare. Also, people experiencing homelessness have been introduced to canines who offer that loyalty as pals. This is a program that has been done in Romania and probably can be utilized here in Kenya.